a good ball played in for Tony Morley. Oh, he missed it! It is! Peekaboo! Villa in the lead!
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to the Villa Forever podcast. I am your host, Chad Williams. Please subscribe and give this video the thumbs up. So remember to smash that like button. I'm up to 1.19k subscribers. Thank you everyone for your support. This is the Avfc weekly recap, your weekly dose of Aston Villa news and headlines. Aston Villa still without a win. When it rains, it pours. And on this podcast, I'm joined by Aaron Thornton, all the way from the other side of the Atlantic, who is the host of the Football Brief. And Aston Villa's winless run carries on after 6 games. And Crystal Palace held us to a frustrating draw at Villa Park. We have stopped the rot, but still, we are a Champions League team. It is not good enough standards. We expect better, and it's just not good enough. And we've got some big games coming up. We need to improve quickly. We go on to the next game. And it's just the same mistakes. Just keep happening over and over again. It's something that has to stop. And before we get on to the podcast, for Christmas, I'm doing a prize giveaway. So you would like to win a Cadbury chocolate hamper? I'll be announcing a winner on the 5th of December. So all you have to do is go to the Just Giving page. If you donate £2, and make sure to leave your email address, and then you'll be in the draw for a chance to win. And I've pinned it to the top of my X profile to give you all the instructions what to do. So good luck, everyone. Please start on the show again, Aaron. How are you?
Thank you for having me back. I hope I'm not a jinx, because I feel like ever since I've been on, Villa haven't won a match. So it's become, I mean, like you said the first time, it's becoming more like a therapy session just to vent our frustrations every week. But I'm okay, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing really well, thank you.
Good.
Not long to Christmas now.
No, not long till Christmas. And actually, I'm coming back to the UK for the first time in almost 2 years. So, yeah, it's gonna be a nice Christmas.
And all I want for Christmas is Villa to win.
Very good. Yeah.
Well, let's get into our therapy session then. So we could call this a draw podcast. So what is your assessment from the Crystal Palace game?
Well, to be honest, if I'm being truthful, when I did my match predictions earlier in the week, I actually said it would be a score draw. So
Yeah.
I wasn't that surprised, because I thought Palace would, they need to pick up points. We're not playing that well. They won at Villa Park recently in the Carabao Cup. So I did think it was going to be a tough game, and that, we can't keep a clean sheet. So I knew that we'd concede at least 1 goal. Obviously, I was hoping the Villa boys would prove me wrong and that wouldn't happen. However, it was just frustrating, is the overriding thought again. Frustration. The main thing that frustrated me was the fact that we didn't keep a clean sheet. And yet again, we conceded from our own corner. And it's just getting a bit silly now. The one positive is that, we're still, I think, 3 points off the top 4, 4 points off second. So although we're going through a bad patch, we're still in and amongst it. So
Really,
yeah,
if you win, you're right up there again.
exactly. Yeah. So frustrating, but I saw a stat that it was like, I think we've had one clean sheet now in the last 15
Yeah.
games, which is, it's just not good enough.
No, it's not. And in that game as well, I checked the stats the other day, and we had 70% possession. And even though we dominated possession, but we didn't take advantage of it. We didn't do enough with the ball.
No. And I don't know, did you notice we just look like every player more or less just looks shot of confidence. We just look a bit
Yeah.
shaky on the ball.
Oh, I absolutely agree. And also, like, the same mistakes, they keep happening over and over again. We're not learning from our mistakes.
No. And I think the first goal they scored again was from like a loose pass or sloppy play in our midfield, which essentially got turned over, and then they went on and scored, and they were a threat. I actually thought Palace played very well. I think it's sort of worrying at the minute that Liverpool, Palace, these teams now. Last season, I don't say we got away with it, but teams were
Yeah.
still trying to figure us out. Whereas this season now, it seems like teams have figured us out how we play. They're high pressing us from the front. They're cutting out our passing channels, and they're turning any pass over. They're turning over, and then
Yeah.
it's straight on the counter attack, and it's simple enough now to play against. So I think that needs to be looked at personally. But
And also, what worries me as well, we look very exposed with our high line. I mean, against Crystal Palace, it was really risky, and we got caught out a few times.
yeah, we did, especially with Ismail Assar, he's so fast. And like we were saying in the Liverpool game, as much as I rate Pau Torres, and I think Diego Carlos isn't great, but has certain
Yeah.
attributes that are good, pace and speed is not their forte. So whenever they're up against anybody fast, I say panic. I do worry that they're going to get caught out, which they did.
And the passing was really sloppy. But we're giving the ball away as well. And I think we're not really open at the back.
Yeah, we did. Tielemans, man, like he's been the goat of the season so far, and
Yeah.
every pass that he tried to play just didn't seem to come off. And even Morgan Rogers, Mr. Reliable. I mean, again, it was the way Palace set up. I think they were pressuring those players and they were stopping the ball
Yeah.
into feet, so it was harder to pass. But still, just the reliable players, even they couldn't really do much. So yeah, a lot of sloppy passes.
I know what you noticed as well, Aaron, that we had Paul Torres and Diego Carlos. Between them at centre back, there's a massive gap in
Yeah,
between the two centre backs. I noticed.
yeah, and they don't seem to. Yeah, the communication just didn't seem to be as good. Yeah, I agree with you that there's a massive hole in the back, and then
Yeah.
you're giving space for these players to run into. It just becomes simple, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's like that. We could do something like him or Onana, or say Kamara, to put out the fires. Because no one's really like winning. We need someone to win the ball back.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point you make there. We certainly missed an Onana or a Kamara just sat in there. You've hit the nail on the head actually, because you think about that gap in the middle.
Yeah.
Usually, you've got someone hovering around there and trying to cut that pass out, or just monitoring and sort of being the legs for the two centre backs. And yeah, we didn't have that. Tielemans, as good as he's been, that's not really his sort of role, is it? He can't really run back as fast, and yeah, we struggled.
As well, you said about Starcore's problems. Also, we couldn't better. It means his hold-up play. We think was a big problem. He was making a lot of those runs in behind.
Yeah, he
That
was
was
a
a big
threat.
issue.
Yeah, no, yeah, I thought he played really well, and again, a big physical player that we struggled to contain, and he can actually pass as well. So when he did get the ball and shrug off a couple of players, he found that pass, and I think their
Yeah.
first goal came from his assist, didn't it? He put the ball in, and again, like you mentioned, in that space, just put the ball in there.
Yeah.
Saar runs onto it, and Matsson's fast, but Saar's quicker, which I didn't realize.
Oh, he is. Yeah.
Yeah, it just disappointing. Just basic errors and just basic
It's
setup.
the basics of the game. Yeah.
Yeah,
Look, I mean, it's not acceptable.
it's not, and especially with someone like Emery in charge, who's so meticulous
Yeah.
and he's so prepared for these moments. It's just very out of character for him. So I'm really hoping that he gets into the players and corrects it for the game on Wednesday.
I think in that game as well, I think we missed something like Moussa Diaby. So we need someone like an impact player. And since like he went up to Saudi League for a lot of money, but really, I think like we really miss him. I think.
Again, Chad, I think you're spot on. I think you've made some really good points. I think because what happens is, Emery our classic setup is sort of playing through the lines, through the middle. We don't really use the width, and when we do use the width, we rely on Leon Bailey. Now, last season that was absolutely fine because Leon Bailey was arguably one of the best wingers in the league. Whereas now, when teams are crowding us out in midfield and they're stopping those channels, we're looking to the wing now. So we're using Bailey as a release, but like he's not. He's another one who's really struggling at the minute for form.
Yeah.
So we almost need a Diaby or someone with pace just to get us out of the congested midfield. So yeah, we do miss him, and I think
He's sort of a great option to have.
Yeah, because Philigine's, he's learning, isn't he? He's going to take time for him to get up to speed. So I think Diaby's missed, and I also think a penalty taker in Mr. Douglas Luiz is also missed as well. But I know we'll touch on that later.
100%, yeah. But I think that Yuri Tielemans penalty, I mean, if he scores that, that's a different game.
Do you know? I said to my wife, I made her watch it. Unfortunately for her, I said at the time as he stepped up for the penalty, I said, I can see him missing this, and I know that sounds so negative, but because he had such a poor game up until that point, he just did not look confident. And I said, he's either going to miss it or it's going to get saved. And lo and behold, it got saved. So,
when that happened, I was absolutely gutted almost.
Yeah, I know. I think he needed. He needed.
Because real chance to get back in the game. That was.
Yeah, and just take some control of the game, which we hadn't really had. Like you say, we had a lot of possession.
Yeah,
we weren't really doing much with it, were we? I don't really know what we were doing.
And again, we had a lot of chances, but we don't have anything to show for it. We don't take them.
Yeah, yeah. Again, but credit to Palace, I have to say. I thought they came considering
they deserved it. I mean, their game plan worked.
Yeah, and again, their manager said, a bit like Arne Slot for Liverpool, Glasner comes out and says, Villa play in a way that suits us because we can exploit them, which is becoming the running theme now of other teams when they come up against us, which we need to sort of just change up a bit.
Yeah. Might they look a tactical tweak or something?
Yeah. I don't know what that is. I mean, I'm happy to play the same way, keep our philosophy, but every now and then, maybe just go a bit more direct, just shake it up a bit, try and keep the opposition guessing a bit more, because at the minute it's obvious it's going to try and get to Pau Torres, who can try and find that channel or find that space down the wing, or he tries to find Morgan Rogers' feet, and it's becoming quite simple now and quite obvious.
I think as well, we need a natural right back in the team. Something like a Natty Cash or the Djokovic.
Who? Where is who? Sorry, Nedeljkovic.
He's not even getting in the team.
Emery, whether he doesn't rate him or whether I don't know what it is, but you'd think
Yeah.
you'd be given a chance. I did think Bogard was good though. I thought, well, I don't know if I was watching the different game to
Was
Emirates.
impressed with him actually. Yeah, I was.
Yeah, he looked all right. He looked quite steady. He was trying to make things happen down the right at least. But yeah, right back's an issue. Like we said
Yeah.
before, that whole right side seems so unbalanced compared to our left.
Because Matty Cash, in a 1v1 situation, Matty Cash is better.
Yeah,
He likes to get to that byline, likes to get forward, cross it in.
I don't know if you noticed as well though when he came on. I think even he made a couple of misplaced passes, and
Yeah,
for me,
wasn't like him.
it just sort of epitomised our squad at the minute. I think when a team's running low on confidence, it sort of filters through the whole team, and it's
Yeah.
almost like he came straight in off the bench, thinking, okay, he's going to be a different option, refreshed, but actually he was just doing the same. So I think the boys they just need a win. I don't care how the win looks, whether it's ugly or not. I just think they
The
need a win.
Juventus game, that's a massive game at Villa Park.
Yeah, I've got us down to win that game. I don't
Yeah,
know.
me too.
Yeah, I think the atmosphere at Villa Park is on Champions League nights is different. I
Special.
mean, you'll know more than me because you go to them. But
Oh, it's something special, yeah.
yeah,
And then after that, we've got some big guys then. I mean, we've got Chelsea away at Stamford Bridge. Then we got Nottingham Forest. Well, Southampton first.
okay.
Then it's Forest after, yeah.
If we can get something at the bridge, and if we can just sort of galvanise, come back together, and if we can get a win at Chelsea, I mean, it's been quite good to us the last couple of seasons. I think
Yeah.
we've won both these fixtures in the last 2 seasons. If we could get a win there and then push on and make a bit of a statement, we could have a really potentially have a good Christmas, and it could be looking a lot brighter for us come
The festive period, yeah.
the start of January. We could be looking quite nice, but yeah, that's going to be a tough test.
100%. Well, I'm going to talk about positive.
Yeah.
So John McGinn
Yeah,
made his 250th club appearance. I think John McGinn really over the years, he's been a key player along with Tyrone Mings, and he's stuck through the club.
yeah. No, Mr. John McGinn, Mr. Aston Villa. You talk about loyalty in football. You talk about longevity with the same
Yeah.
club, and John McGinn embodies all of that. He's been with us in the doldrums of the Championship, and we signed him for what was it, like 2.5 million from Hibernian.
Steve Bruce with him.
Steve Bruce, yeah. And I just feel that ever since he's signed, every game he plays
Yeah.
plays with his heart on his sleeve. And
He's got a lot of passion.
yeah, and it's just been nice to see his development as well. Like, from a Championship player,
Yeah.
which he was, to now a Champions League captain, and he's actually he belongs there as well. He actually he suits the stage very well. Obviously, he's the captain for Scotland as well. So I think John McGinn, and I see you've got the top in the background as well, Super John
Yeah.
McGinn.
Yeah, good side.
I think he goes down for me. I think he's got to go down as a hero, as a bit of a legend. I know the word legend gets used a lot, but if he stays with us for the duration and doesn't leave and sort of sees out his career, I do think he's worthy of legend status.
I mean, he never gives up. He always gives 110%.
The famous John McGinn the backside shuffle.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's fair play, great achievement for John McGinn, and and equally, like you say, Tyrone Mings is in that bracket as well.
Yes.
Very
John McGinn as well. He's got great leadership qualities as well, same as Mings.
Yeah. I thought John McGinn played well. I thought he was one of our better
Yeah.
players on the weekend. I think he's sort of getting back to the levels that we know he can get to.
Yeah. Also, I think I'm going Aston Villa folklore, I think.
Yeah.
The likes of John McGinn. I think Henry's got the best out of him. Like, He sort of like developed even more with with Emery as well.
And that was the big question, wasn't it, when Emery first came in? You were looking at the squad and you were thinking, the way that Emery plays and the sort of football he plays, John McGinn might be a casualty of this squad. I don't know if John McGinn can push on anymore, which is a sad notion. But then, as John McGinn does, he just stepped up again and he is now the captain and is a regular starter for the Villa. And I think he was the only positive, the only good thing that Gerrard maybe did in hindsight was when I know he stripped Tyrone Mings.
Was it that Crystal Palace guy? When John McGinn at Selhurst when he scored.
Oh yeah.
I remember that with Stephen Gerrard. I always remember that.
Yeah, I know. They were dark times, but I think one of the things he did do was make John McGinn captain, which was at the time was tough because Tyrone Mings had done nothing wrong. But now we've got McGinn there with the armband. It's it sort of makes sense. But
I mean, John McGinn as well. I mean, I like him. He always gets stuck in. He's got a real fire in his belly.
He's so combative, isn't he? He reminds me of like a proper 90s footballer, a bit rough, bit ready, but he can actually play. But he's not scared to get his body in there and really ruffle up defenders, which is what I like. We need that.
So let's talk about in the game against Crystal Palace. So for Aston Villa, he was Aston Villa's best performance in the game.
Who were the best ones?
In your opinion?
In my opinion, okay. I've got 3, almost 4, 3.5. We mentioned 2 of them already. So Bogard, I thought was good, and he's a young player, and I want to make sure he gets a bit of credit. I think he played well. McGinn, we've just spoken about. I thought Barkley was great. I thought Ross Barkley.
Oh yeah, I mean he really busts his possession. He does.
He just looks exactly.
More control.
So tidy on the ball. So Ross Barkley and my half, so my 3.5 players. I thought Leon Bailey grew into the game. I thought
he was better in this game.
He was much better, and I do think he's getting there. And like we said last time, Leon Bailey he plays on confidence, and I think Emery's trying to play him through this sort of low confidence spell. So I think he improved as the game went on, and it was good to see. There was a moment actually with Leon Bailey where Bogard made a pass to him which he didn't receive, and Leon Bailey sort of turned around and was like, "That was my fault. That was my fault." So even in the midst of his low confidence, he's still showing a bit of humility. Excuse me, and he's still showing that he's a bit of a role model for the younger players. So yeah, they were my standouts. What about you?
Well, first of all, with Ollie Watkins, he was excellent.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, he was very good. He always worked very hard. And this guy, though, and also, he's a great confident goal as well. Go around the goalkeeper as well. I think also Watkins, he gave it his all in that game, I think.
Yeah, I think again another great point. I think Watkins gets us out of trouble a lot of the time because when you look at him over the last few weeks, he's been quite isolated. You know what I mean? Because teams are now sort of cutting out these passes in the channels. Watkins then becomes quite an isolated figure, so he's having to do a lot of a bit like we used to see with him before Emery, like a lot of the running in behind and sort of runs that aren't always going to get passes, and a lot of the hard work that he does, really helps the team out to sort of get up the pitch a bit. So yeah, I agree with you. I think he played well, and he took his goal so well, as Ollie Watkins often does. So yeah, I agree.
Oh, he's becoming a regular now in the England setup.
And he scores.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, absolutely true.
Hopefully Tuchel continues to pick him.
I want to look at Watkins as well. Is his link-up play as well? I mean, he draws other players into the game.
Yeah, he makes that space, doesn't he? And creates that space that then the midfielders can sort of run into, and then they can sort of do the cut back, or they can try and run through or switch the ball over. I think Ollie Watkins is vital to how we play at the minute, and like we were just saying, I think he gets us out of trouble quite a lot of the times.
And Leon Bailey, he hit the post. I mean, he nearly scored. I mean, Leon Bailey, you have to remember, the fans need to get behind him.
Agreed.
Because, we're going to try and help him.
Yeah, I was caught in two minds when he took that shot because Ollie Watkins
Yeah.
was semi-open, and I was like, just pass the ball, pass the ball. Then when he took the shot, and I was thinking, and he hit the bar, I was like, oh, if that went in, not just for us, but for his own confidence, that would have been great. So it turned out that it wasn't a goal, and that was fine. But yeah, I agree with you. I think you look at the Leon Bailey from last season, we know what he can do, and it's. I almost feel sorry for him, and I don't mean that in a patronising way.
Yeah, I
But the
did a
way he
little bit.
plays,
Yeah, I did that as well.
yeah, you can see that he's really trying, and like I don't know, he comes up against the one-on-one with some defenders, and like usually or last season, he takes that defender on and he beats him, or he at least runs him down the wing, and he
Yeah.
might get a corner or a throw-in or something. He just looks like he doesn't know what to do, or he's too scared that it's not going to pull off, so he just doesn't want to do it anymore. And yeah, I'm with you though. We need to get behind him and just keep backing him. And once he gets that first goal,
He's
once he gets that
confident.
goal, yeah, I think confidence will be a lot higher.
Also, what he does well, he's very good at the cutbacks.
Yeah,
No crosses into the area.
yeah. He like goes down to the byline and then cuts it
Yeah.
back, doesn't he? Last minute. Yeah. He's good at that. He takes the defender right to the edge of the line, and then just like, yeah, no, he did that a couple of times actually against
And
Palace.
also, he contributed to getting the penalty.
He did, yeah. That scraped down the Achilles. I mean, I didn't know that was a penalty at first. I didn't see enough of it to shout out at the TV. And then when it was like, oh, VAR check, I was like, oh, nice, okay. I think was that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was that our first penalty
Yeah.
that we've been awarded this season in the Prem?
Well, I'm sure I am. I'm sure that could be. Yeah.
I think it might be. I'm not too
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Not too sure. It might be.
I just feel like I've not seen many penalties that we've had, so I just feel I couldn't remember if it was our first or we've not had a lot anyway. I don't think.
And Leon Bailey as well. On that right hand side, he had a lot of freedom, a lot of space.
Yeah, we did. I think he gave is it Mitchell their left back? Mitchell. I
Yeah.
thought Mitchell was good. Again, I think Mitchell's quite a good left back, but I think Bailey, Bailey made him work, and Bailey did what he could. And again, I like that Emery's trying to make him play through this
Yeah.
this lack of confidence, and hopefully it pays off. You just need a goal. You
Thing is, with
just need a
players,
goal.
they feed off confidence.
They really are, and we can all see it as well.
And I think I agree with you about Bogard as well. He put a good performance in. He's got quite a lot of pace as well. He don't really give the ball away that often, really, either.
That was a big thing that I noticed as well. Yeah, I think in the games that he was playing at the start of the season, he would give the ball away a couple of times, which is expected. He's a young player playing in the Premier League for the first time. Whereas this time, he just looked a lot like his passes looked a lot more assured.
Yeah.
His positional sense seemed a lot more. He seemed a lot more aware, and he was really trying to like put that ball through to Bailey, or really trying to move up the pitch, which I liked. So I thought, yeah, I was quite shocked that he was brought off after the first half. I thought, has he got a knock, or but obviously he thought maybe Matty Cash could give us something different. And
God, he come off in the second half.
is it off in the second half? He came off. Oh, okay, right. I thought he came off earlier than that. I just didn't really see him.
Was it a bit earlier than that?
No, I
Yeah,
think
it might be before. I was right. Yeah. Yeah, I think it. Yeah, I think it's the second half. Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. He was playing well. He looked good. He looked good. So.
Also, with Bogard as well. He's really confident and composed with the ball as well. He's always very calm.
Yeah. And he's a centre back, isn't he? By trade, he's not actually a right back. I mean, I know I know Emery sort of did like it was almost like a sort of three, wasn't it? And then Matson
Yeah.
and Bogard pushing up on the wing. But yeah,
He's,
so I mean,
he's adapted to that role.
yeah, he has. Yeah, yeah, he looked good. You know, it's a good. It's good as well for us as a squad, as a club, that we've got someone else who's learning the role and position. So if he does come good,
Yeah.
it means we haven't got to dip into the market. Although I do think we need to. I do think, especially for right back, he's probably needed. And I like Matty Cash, like you said last time. You know, I've got nothing against Matty Cash. I think he's a good player, but I just think we just need something a bit different.
In the window, I'm sure we probably will get a right back maybe.
Hopefully. I know we almost got one end of the summer, but it didn't materialise, did it? So we'll see.
Also, going back to Bogard, he's very good with his feet as well.
Yeah. Yeah. He seems a lot more assured, and he didn't panic when defenders their attackers were sort of coming onto him and pressing him. He just seemed very confident and just passed the ball out with ease, you know. So yeah, no, his footwork was good.
The last one I went for Ross Barkley.
Nice.
He's playing the strings in the midfield, and he kept possession for us to control.
Yeah, he was pulling strings, wasn't he, really? Ross Barkley in there. And again, another player. Do you know what I love about Ross Barkley is that he knows where he's going to pass the ball before the ball comes into him. Do you know what I mean? So he's already looked around, he's already scanned, and then the ball comes in and he gets it, he's gone. And I think that was really, really important in terms of keeping our tempo and our momentum. I think he really tried to get us going.
Get over.
Yeah. And then he got his goal.
Yeah. I mean, that was a good header, actually. I mean, he's actually quite good with his head.
It was a really good header. Yeah, I know. Because I couldn't quite work out who had scored it. And then when it zoomed in, it was like Ross Barkley. I was like, oh, wow. Fair play. I didn't know we could do that.
Let's talk about Morgan Rogers.
Yes.
So he signed a new contract at Villa Park, which keeps him until 2030. So what are your thoughts on the new contract?
I mean, I thought I was his biggest fan, but I think I'm beaten by you. I think, I know you love Morgan Rogers. You speak very highly of him. And when he signed that new contract, I was very happy. I think it's well deserved. You look at his almost, it's not even been a year yet, not a full year, but within this year that he signed, he's broken into our first team. He's now an established Premier League player. He's now an established Champions League player. He's just made his senior men's England debut. So a contract was deserved. He's such a bright young talent. My only thing, not with him or not with the contract, that's all great. My only thing is, and it's a question to you, really. I don't know if you might agree, you might not agree. Do you think that we play him too much? Do you think there's a risk of, because in the last handful of games, I do think he's looked a bit leggy, and that's not his fault. He wants to play and he's playing a lot, but he's only young. And is there an element of we need to sort of protect him a bit and maybe take him off sometimes or bring him on in games? I know he should start most games. I agree with that, but because of his age and because he's playing so much football, do we think he needs a bit of a break at times or not?
Yeah, I think we need to utilise him in the right games, I think. You go back to the beginning of the season, for example. You go back to the Arsenal game.
Yeah.
I think those big games suit him.
Yeah.
I think he was a stand-up performer on that day. So maybe against the big guys, maybe starting with sort of the big occasions. Then maybe the other guys, like the Crystal Palaces, teams like that, maybe bring us look at impact sub.
That's a really good point. Yeah, I think we're in the danger of, because we're so desperate to pick up a win, it's almost like, right, let's start Rodgers because he's one of our better players, and it means that if we can get the win with him, it just helps us. Whereas if we're winning games, you just said, the Palace game, he
Sure.
might not need to start because we've got Juventus coming up on Wednesday, which he will start. So it's like, why don't we just bring him on, see how we get on with Palace? If we can get a couple goals, whatever,
Yeah.
then bring him on, sort of kill the game. Or I just look. It's not a negative. It's just I really rate him as a player, and I don't want him to like burn out or get injured like Jacob Ramsey. Do you know what I mean? I just want him to
Yeah.
want us to make sure that he doesn't fall into that injury-prone list of players.
Yeah. As
But
well
yeah,
as well, he makes a few forward passes, so he needs to learn to make that right pass.
yeah,
He will get better at it, I think.
he will, and I do think, and this is again sort of related to the last point that I made. Because he's such a threat, teams now know that, and I do think he's
Yeah.
getting that mark slightly. So, like, whereas at the start of the season he had so much space around him, he could get the ball turned and give it because teams didn't quite know who he was, where he was playing. Whereas now it's like, oh, Morgan Rogers, he's a threat. Man mark him or stay close to him so he can't just turn and pick out that pass. So
Yeah.
I don't know whether because I know initially he was sort of coming in off the left, wasn't he? And now he
He
seems to be
was,
playing
yeah.
in behind Watkins. I don't know
More
which I prefer.
centrally.
Yeah, yeah,
I think more wide is better, more effective. More
yeah.
wide or I think.
Agreed. Yeah. So, no, but look, he's a good player, and do you know what else as well? He seems like a really nice kid when
Yeah.
he comes across on
Yeah.
interviews and when he speaks. He sounds really mature, really
Very
humble.
humble, yeah, he is.
Yeah, and he's a Brummie lad.
Well, yeah, he's not, is he from is it Starbridge? Where's he from?
Is it Stourbridge or Solihull? Oh, no, Jack Grealish is Solihull, isn't he?
Yeah, it might be somewhere like that, I think, yeah.
He's around that way, isn't he? But you look at now Rodgers, Grealish, Bellingham, all these Birmingham players representing, man.
It's really good to see. It's a proud moment for them.
Really is, yeah, yeah. So no, mate, very happy. I'm assuming you were happy with the contract
Yes.
extension as well.
I was thinking also, I think with Unai Emery, I think Morgan Rogers has flourished with Unai Emery. He's one of those players who just keeps getting them better and better, I think.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree.
And you think much from Middlesbrough. And it's a big thing to come to the Premier League. So he's adapted to the Premier League really well.
Yeah, he really has. Yeah, agreed.
And when I look at Emery's signings, I'd actually say it's one of his most successful signings.
Villa or like across his like Emery's career.
Villa.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, for sure. And none of us really knew. I mean, I've got a couple of friends who are from Middlesbrough and support Middlesbrough. So when we were linked with him last year, I actually texted them in our group and was
Yeah.
like, "Can you give me some information on Rodgers? What's he like? We've been linked with him." And they were just like, "Yeah, he's okay. He's decent. He's okay as a forward. He's not a bad player." There wasn't much
Yeah.
about him. So when we signed him, I didn't expect him to be in the team straight away, and then he just like lift off. He was just sensational. So yeah, no, really happy with that and good job.
I think with Rodgers as well. He's young and he's still learning. And I just think his directness as well.
Yeah.
Opponents, yeah.
Yeah, he really goes for those defenders, doesn't he? And he's not scared. You know what I mean? He's up against. He's rubbing shoulders sometimes with like Premier League greats and these players of big stature, and he's not phased. He just concentrates on his own game and
He's so
and
confident.
yeah,
And 15 million we signed him for, which is a bargain, really. I mean,
I think you think about the potential. And I don't want him to leave, obviously, but this is the world
yeah.
of football. You think about the potential that he could go for in the
Yes.
distant future. Yeah, that's going to be a snippet. 15 million.
Well, I mean, in the future, it'd be a lot of money for someone signed.
Yeah, no, agreed.
So we go to the last point then.
Yeah.
So we've got Juventus on Wednesday night. It's going to be a great European night of football. So what should the game plan be? against Juventus?
Just win. I think. I know. Sorry, that sounds so abrupt, but I mean in terms of I don't at this point now. Look, it's going to be a great occasion. You're going to be there as well, and Champions
Yeah.
League nights. They just look so amazing. I'm watching it from over in New York, and
What is it? It gives you the goosebumps. Like, you hear that theme tune.
yeah, I can imagine. And you've told me how special it feels. So that's great. And the occasion, I don't want to take away from the occasion. So I want them to enjoy it, but we just need to win. I don't care how ugly it is. I don't care if it's a
Yep.
scrappy goal. I just think we just need to get that win on the board for us, just to break this cycle of a winless run. So start solid at the back, tighten up in defence. Let's
Yep.
start there and then build on that. And whether we play our way or we go direct, shake it up a bit and just go for this win. That for me is what we need to do, because Juventus is not going to be an easy game, but I do think we've got enough,
Oh,
especially
no.
especially at Villa Park. And
I don't think we should do the same game plan we did against Bayern Munich, I think.
yeah,
The same approach.
that worked well, didn't it?
Yeah, and also we need to look after the ball. We can't keep giving the ball away against a team like Juventus. You've got to control possession.
Yeah, they will punish us. I mean, Palace did punish us, but they could have punished us even more. Whereas your teams like Bayern or Juventus, they really will. You give them a sniff, and they'll take that chance. So yeah, we just need to. I think if we can just work on the basics, tight defense, simple pass.
Yes.
Like if it's not working, get rid of it. And I know it sounds so basic, and I don't want to sound boring, because I know we play a very attractive style of football, and I don't want to move away from that. But there are times where we need to just dig in a bit more and sometimes go direct. There's
We
no
need
shame.
like a reset.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah.
The
So
other thing that worries me as well, I think, is going back to the corners. We can't overcommit too much.
Honestly, I was screaming at my TV screen when we conceded from that corner. I just said, again, like, how are we not set up defensively? And if we are, like, why is it Torres? I don't know who was back there, to be honest. I don't know who was back there, but whoever was back there, like, it just wasn't good enough. It's just, we should learn. It happened twice against Liverpool. Twice.
It can't happen a third time.
So it's like, against Palace, it happens again. So that needs looking at. And I don't know if that's Austin McPhee or Emery or whoever, but yeah, that was frustrating. So hopefully that gets sorted out, because we'll really be in danger if that is the case.
The thing is, with corners, if anything, we should be trying to score for the corners.
I know, yeah.
Not giving away goals from corners.
Well, Ross Barkley got his goal, didn't he, against Palace? That was from the corner. So it's like we concede one, but we score one. But I just think the setup was all wrong. Like, whoever's on the halfway line, I think we had 2 people against Liverpool, and he corrected it this time against Palace, and he put 3 people on the halfway line, and it still wasn't enough. So I don't know what the answer is, but more players, I don't know. But yeah,
I'm going to be careful with Juventus. Don't get caught out. But be careful of the high line. Because Juventus are trying to exploit the high line, I think.
Yeah, if they're watching, which I'm assuming their manager has watched the videos of the Palace game and he's analysing it. Yeah, you just look at Villa. We've had high line since Emery come in. I think last season we got lucky a lot of times because it was so tight. Whereas this season, our high line, we're not as tight as we were. So yeah, if you're Juventus, you're gonna target that high line. So we need to be bang on it.
Who is the Juventus manager?
Good question.
I'm not sure his name is actually.
Do you know what? That's a really good question.
Well, why did you say that on Wednesday? I'll do the match preview on the Bayern Munich game. So we're going to get an insight from the Italian football podcast.
Oh, nice.
So they will be coming on my show on Wednesday.
Man, that's really cool. That's really
So,
cool. So
so we'll get more of an insight of Juventus.
yeah, yeah, and see like because I think if I'm correct, I don't think they've been playing that well.
No, not
Um,
fantastic, I don't think.
Motta, Thiago Motta. Remember
All
him?
right.
He's
Yeah,
the manager. He's the
I do.
manager.
I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah, because he replaced Allegri. So it was Allegri for a while, but he's now replaced Allegri, which makes sense.
Also, I noticed with Douglas Luiz, he don't always start for Juventus. He lost Champions League game. He was on the bench.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I know. Do you know what? It's a bit. There's a bit of an irony, isn't there? We are struggling for a penalty taker
Yeah.
since Douglas Luiz left, and he's coming back to Grace Villa Park on Wednesday. And look, I hope fans give him a round of applause. And you know,
He
he's an,
deserves it. Yeah, he was a good player for us.
I think he left really. It was more for FFP, wasn't it, that he left?
PSR and all that. That was it. Yeah.
So like, yeah, Doug, I think like you were saying, we missed the RB. I also think we missed the Douglas Luiz. I mean, it's easy to say
Absolutely agree.
when we don't like win a game and we can draw back on these ex players, but I do think
Yeah.
Dougie Luiz offered us something in that position which we don't really have. I mean, Tielemans has done his best and he's doing very well in that
Yeah.
position, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. Oh, it's good though that you've got the Italian football, the pod coming on.
Yeah.
That's
We're looking forward to that.
that'll be really insightful. That's good work.
Thank you. And also, it'd be a good homecoming. He's done this the way he's played for Villa for 5 years. And I think his best football was under Unai Emery. I mean, he was good under Dean Smith as well. Gerrard, he sort of struggled.
Yeah, I think everyone did under Gerard.
Yeah. That's it. We get outside a better manager.
Yeah. No, good. Yeah, no. Under Emery, I think we saw the best of Douglas Luiz.
His
I mean,
vision. I mean, his vision's incredible.
yeah, some of his passing, his range. I mean, I got a Villa top last season with Douglas
Yep.
Luiz on the back because I was just like in awe of him. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him come back, and I think he'll get a nice warm reception.
I miss Alicia Lyman as well.
Yeah, I bet
I was
you do.
gutted when she left.
Yeah, I know. No, yeah. What a weird transfer. That's got to be the first time in history that a boyfriend and girlfriend
Did it ever happened? Yeah.
have moved together. Yeah, like
But
I wonder if she'll be back.
also, I've got a calendar.
Really? Has she got a calendar? Oh yeah, she's got a calendar, hasn't she?
I've got it at the moment. Yeah.
Nice, nice. I mean, I wonder if she'll be back.
Yeah. But I reckon she might be in the crowd. Probably she might be.
She might be up in one of the boxes. Yeah, I mean, it makes
somewhere.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. We have to keep our eyes out.
Well, I was going to say about the Juventus guy. So, what is your score prediction?
I'm gonna go with 2-1 to Villa.
Then I'm going to go
What you
2-1. We're going to go 2-1 Villa as well.
2-1? Yeah, we can't
Good-
keep a clean sheet,
yeah.
can we?
We usually turn up against the big teams.
We do. That's a good point. We do. Who? Morgan Rogers to score.
You know what? I won't rule it out. You know, I fancy him to score actually.
First Champions League goal. Will it be his first?
Mainly him. I think him and Watkins are going to score.
Yeah, I think Watkins might score as well. Yeah, I agree. Okay, cool. So we've got the same prediction.
Yeah.
So hopefully it comes through.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to bring this podcast to a close. Thank you everyone for watching. If you enjoyed this podcast, remember to make sure to subscribe. If you haven't, make sure to smash the like button on this video. Make sure to give it a share. And if you can leave us a good review on our audio platforms, including Spotify and Amazon Music, and Apple, that always helps. And also let us know your thoughts in the comments section about what you thought about this episode. Thank you so much, Aaron, for your time.
Thank you for having me as always. It's always a pleasure. Love coming on. Let's try and get Alicia Lehman to subscribe.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a dream country. That would if that ever happened. Yeah.
We're gonna start this movement. We're gonna get Alicia Lehman to subscribe. That's the mission. But no, thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Aaron, and I'm going to wrap up this episode with Villa forever and up the Villa.
Of the Villa.